Hello, how are you children? I hope you are fine, safe at home and doing well with your studies. Dear children, I am your Mahbub sir would like to discuss with you about the first poem of your 10th standard English book, that is Grandma Climbs a Tree. So let us discuss about this poem, Grandma Climbs a Tree. The first poem, Grandma Climbs a Tree. Dear children, please open your textbook at page number Here, all of you open your textbook at page number 18. There you see the poem Grandma Climbs a Tree. Don't it sound funny? Have you ever seen a grandma climbing a tree? Is it not strange, children? Yeah, it's really strange one. It's amazing to see a grandma climbing a tree at her old age. A grown-up lady climbing a tree is a very funny thing. It makes us laugh. It makes us to laugh. And here we won't imagine it as an unusual thing, just like a grandma climbing a tree, or a grandfather who is more than 80 years old, very grown up, riding a bicycle or riding a bike with a high speed, or flying a kite, or swinging in a swing. These are all unusual things. Dear children, look at the title of this poem. Yes, it itself suggests Grandma climbs a tree. It's very unusual thing. We have never seen. But in some YouTube videos, in our Facebook videos, or the WhatsApp videos which we have shared among us, might have seen such funny activities. Let us see here a grown-up lady climbs a tree. This poem, the present poem, Grandma Climbs a Tree, is written by Ruskin Bond. Who is the poet? Ruskin Bond. Ruskin Bond is a well-known English poet. He born in India in Kasoli in 1934. When was he born? He born in India in Kasoli in 1934. And he lived in Missouri. This poet, Ruskin Bond, is known for his imaginative poetry. He enjoys poetry with unusual events, unusual actions are seen in his poems, dear children. Let us know what the poet says about his grandmother. And going through this poem, we learn what qualities the poet's grandmother had possessed, and also her strange wish, strange desire, and how her desire is fulfilled. Now, just go straight to the poem, dear children. Let us open your book at page number 19. Grandma Climbs a Tree. Let me read this first stanza, then I will discuss and explain what the stanza has. My grandmother was a genius. You would like to know why? Because she could climb trees, spreading or high. She would be up there, branches in her trees. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Ever since childhood, she would have this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. Dear children, now let me explain you this first stanza. The poet says, my grandmother. Whose grandmother? The poet's grandmother was a genius. He called her a genius. What do you mean by genius? Yeah, dear children, genius means brilliant, very talented, skillful, brilliant, skillful. So, what do you think? A grandma climbing a tree is a childish thing, childish activity she was doing. Climbing trees, childish. But the poet didn't call her a childish. He calls her as a genius lady, brilliant lady, very skillful lady. Why? He says, would you like to know why? He wants us to know why. Why he calls his grandmother as genius? Because she could climb trees. See, dear children, climbing trees is not an easy task. Do you think climbing trees is an easy task? No. Climbing trees a very skillful activity. It requires skills. You might have seen people climbing trees, climbing electric poles, climbing areca trees, even climbing coconut trees. It is a skill, very skillful activity. But here, the grown-up lady, poet's grandmother, was climbing trees. Yes, she climbing trees. She had that skill, that gift. That's why he called her genius. He called her genius because she could climb trees. Spreading or high, no matter. If the tree might be very short, spreaded with the low branches, or the tree may be high, the tree may be tall, like a coconut tree or coconut tree. It won't matter her. She could climb all kinds of trees. She was very expert in climbing trees. She could climb all kinds of trees. That is a gift. That is a skill she had possessed. That's why the poet called her genius. In the very first line of this stanza, he says, my grandmother was genius. He says, because she has this gift, swimming, climbing trees, flying kites. These are all skillful activities. She would up there branches in her trees. Dear children, remember, she would be up. That she would be up. She could climb trees very fast. Very fast. She would be up in the branches. In a few moments, in a few minutes, she could climb tall trees. So she was very clever, very skillful. She could climb so fast like a monkey, like a squirrel. See, she could climb the trees like a tree, like a monkey or squirrel. Such a talented, such a brilliant, such a skillful lady the poet's grandmother was. She could climb, she would be up in branches, in a trice. In a trice means very quickly. Yeah, children, trice means what? Very quickly. How could she climb trees, children? Yeah, she could climb trees very quickly, like monkeys, like squirrels. That is a gift, rare gift she had possessed. See, it's not an easy. Not an easy to climb a tree. It requires more energy. It needs more energy as well as skill. But this grandmother had this rare skill of climbing trees. That's why we called her grandmother genius, because she could climb trees. Either it may be a spread tree or it may be a tall tree. It won't matter us. She could climb each and every kind of trees. She was very skillful in climbing all kinds of trees. That's why spreading her high, she would be up their branches in a trice. What does trice mean, children? Very quickly. Yeah, remember, very quickly. And mind you, when last she climbed a tree, she was 62. Yeah, dear children, underline this one. She was 62. At what age? See, even at the age of 20 or 25, it is not so easy for us. Many of us couldn't climb trees. But this grandmother, the old lady, grown-up lady, at the age of 62, she could climb trees. So quickly. That's also a point to be noted. Children, dear children, note it. She could climb trees not slowly. So very quickly she could climb trees. And last time, when she climbed the tree, how old was she, dear children? Yeah, she was 62. Ever since childhood. See, she didn't learn this climbing trees in the when she was grown up. When she attained the age of 60 or 62, she had this skill. See, ever since her childhood, she had this gift for being happier in a tree than in a lift. She was always feels happier. Such nature-loving grandmother was she. She finds her happier, finds her comfort sitting on a tree, listening to the birds chirping, twittering of the birds, sitting on the branches of a tree. She gets her comfort, gets her happiness being in a tree. See here, the last line. For being happier in a tree than in a lift. Sometimes we goes up, when we are going to the apartments, we see in the cities, we see lifts. You might have gone into the lifts. When they go up and down, we feel happy. But this poet's grandma feels happy, not in a lift, but in a tree. She finds her happiness in a tree, children. Yeah, let us go to the second stanza. And though as years went by, she would be told the climbing tree should stop when one grew old. See how the rhyming words are also used. How beautifully the poet describes, imagines the rare quality of his grandmother. This is an unusual event which the poet describes. And though as years went by, she would be told that climbing trees should stop when one grew old. and that growing old should be gone about gracefully. See, it should be gone through gracefully. She would laugh and say, well, I will grow disgracefully. I can do it better. And we have to agree. For in all the garden, there wasn't a tree. See, and though years went by, how old was she when she climbed the tree for the last time? Yeah, she was 62. Now years rolled out. Years passed out. She become more old. She become older. She become older, and whoever have seen her climbing trees, the passers-by, the villagers, her family member, the poet, his father, her family members told her to stop. What did they tell? Yeah, they told her, dear granny, dear mother, please stop climbing trees. You have grown up old. You are so old. It won't be fine. It won't be suitable for you. It won't be good for you to climb trees. Yes, you are grown old. But everyone advised her. Granny, they requested her to stop climbing trees. What did they request? Yeah, they request to stop climbing trees and grow with graceful. Dear granny, or dear mother, her son might have told her, dear mother, please grow graceful. Yeah, respected manner. Graceful means what? Respected or dignified manner. Gracefully, underline this word, dear children. Gracefully means respectfully. Yeah, see here. When one reaches old age, he reaches maturity also. As he reaches maturity, he should behave in a dignified manner. He should behave in a respected manner. That all people watching him, all people should respect him. But here, everybody told her, Granny, please stop climbing trees and grow up gracefully. As years rolled, she should stop climbing trees. They were very much worried. They were requested her not to climb trees. Stop climbing trees. Dear grandma, please stop climbing trees and grow gracefully. But the old lady, poet's grandmother, says she would laugh and say, whenever she was told to stop climbing trees and grow gracefully, what was her reaction? Yeah, just simply she laughed. If climbing trees is not graceful, then she said, what does she reply? Whenever she was told to stop climbing trees, her reaction was just laugh and say, well, I will grow disgracefully. See here. When everybody requested her to grow graceful and growing old should be gone to graceful, but what she replies, I will grow disgracefully. Here, the opposite of the word gracefully, disgracefully. This is the antonym. Now she says she could add to this. Not only I disgracefully, I can do it better than I had done previously. I can do it better. What can she do it better? What could she do it better? She could do climbing trees better than her previous one. She was firm, she was confident that she could do it better. She could climb trees. Or you may say she was challenging everyone that she could do climbing trees. Though she was grown old, she could do it in a better way. Yeah. And we have to agree. We means who? We means who? We have to agree. The poet and his family members, poet's father, poet's family members, everyone had to agree. They were agreed. Because for all in the garden there wasn't a tree. What do you mean by this, children? For all in the garden. In front of her house there was a garden. There were many trees in that garden. And everyone had to believe she could do it better. Climbing trees, she could climb trees in a better way. Because there was no tree remained in the garden which she had not climbed. She climbed each and every tree in that garden. And that is why they had to agree, yes, grandma, you can do it better. Everybody had to agree with her. Everybody knew that she could climb trees in a better way. Because there was no tree remained in the garden that she hadn't climbed. I hope, have you understand, children? Yeah. That all kinds of trees she had climbed. Each and every kind of tree she had climbed. Now, let's go to the third standard. She hadn't been up at one time or another. Just not only one time or another. She climbed trees many times, having learned to climb from a loving brother. When she was 6, but it was feared by all that one day she would have a terrible fall. The outcome was different. Why? We were in a town, she climbed a tree and couldn't come down. See, the third stanza. She hadn't been up at one time or another. It means she climbed trees many times. Many more times. Not only one time or another time. And see, having learned to climb from her loving brother. Yeah. She learned climbing trees by whom? Who taught her? Climbing trees, dear children? Yeah, exactly. Her loving brother taught her climbing trees. In a family, if you have siblings, your brothers, your elder brother might have taught you riding bicycles, swimming, playing chess, and other things. You might have learned from your brothers. Please remember, what did you learn from your brother? What your brother have taught you? Here, if you have brothers, they must teach you some manners, cooking, preparing and making flowers out of papers, and other skills you might have learned from your brothers or by your sisters. Here, who taught climbing trees to the grandma? Yeah, her loving brother taught her. At what age? How old was she when her brother taught her climbing trees? Yeah, remember, she was 6 years old. As in first paragraph, we learned ever since childhood she had this gift of climbing trees. And at the age of 6, She learned climbing trees by her loving brother. But as this old lady grown up, everyone was worried. Everyone was afraid. Everyone was feared. But it was feared by all. All the members of our family were worried too much. They worried too much because they have a lot of concern and love for this grandma. They thought, they were worried, they were feared because she would have one day or other day, she would have a terrible fall. She would climb trees and she could fall down from the tree, and it might she may get injuries. It might have hurt her. That's why everyone was worried about the grandma. That this grandma in her old age might fell from the tree. But the outcome was different. See, everyone was worried, everyone was afraid. Everyone had concern about grandma. Everyone thought that she might have terrible fall. She would fell from the tree, broken her limbs, might get injuries, might hurt. But the result was different. How different was it? While we were in town, the poets and his family were in town. The grandmother was alone and enjoying her own time. Then she climbed the tree and couldn't come down. It was not able to her to come down. However, she climbed a tree. She didn't fall down, but she couldn't come down. She couldn't come down. She was up there in the tree. She was feared. She was feared. She was worried. But somehow she was rescued. Rescued means saved. Rescued means what, children? Rescued means saving from a dangerous situation. Saving a person or saving the life of a person from a dangerous situation. See, after the rescue, yes, that grandma couldn't climb down, she was rescued. Means she was saved. Someone had taken the ladder and she was brought down from the tree. But this situation, in this particular situation, she was very afraid of when she couldn't come down. She had fever and she was feeling unwell when she was rescued. The doctor came to her house. The doctor took Granny's temperature. What did the doctor take? He took Granny's temperature. Yes, Granny was stick to the bed. He took her temperature and said, doctor said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. He said, I strongly recommend a quiet week in bed. See, the doctor who took Granny's temperature and told the family members, he told her, let grandma be quiet 1 week in bed. She could not move from her place. She should be in the bed for a week. That is what the doctor recommended. What was the doctor's recommend? Yeah. The doctor recommended 1 week bed rest for the old lady. Then we sighed with relief. Everyone was relaxed. Oh, grandma, at least 1 week grandma won't trouble us. She would be in the bed. They were sighed. Ah, gasping breath, taking a breath of comfort. Sighed means taking the breath of comfort. They were relieved and tucked up her well. See, tucked up. Tucked up means taking, looking after her very well, providing all the requirements. They gave her medicine on time. They looked after her well. They were close to her. They won't leave her alone. They fulfilled her demands. Whatever she asked, they tucked up her well. They looked after her well. The poet says, the poet explains, looking at the situation of the granny, who was very active like Mercury. She was not a lazy lady. She was very active. ಬಹಳ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಕ್ರಿಯಾಶೀಲರಾಗಿದ್ದರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. And poor granny, see, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಅಜ್ಜಿಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ನೋಡ್ತಾನ್ರಿ ಕವಿ ಅಂತನ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ, ನನ್ನ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಪಾದರಸದಂತೆ ಲವಲವಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ನನ್ನ ಅಜ್ಜಿ, now she is in the bed. Even she couldn't sit up herself. ಆಕೆ ತನ್ನಷ್ಟು ತಾನೇ ಕುಡುಕು ಆಗಲಾರಂತ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿ ಹಾಸಿಗೆ ಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ದ ಪೋಯಿಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸ್ಯಾಡ್. ಹಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ಸಾರೋ. ಕವಿ ಬಹಳ ಉದ್ದಾರ ತೆಗಿತಾನೆ, ಹೇಳ್ತಾನ, ಪುವರ್ ಗ್ರಾನಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಹರ್, ಸಿ, ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ ಸೀಸನ್ ಇನ್ ಹೆಲ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಪುವರ್ ಗ್ರಾನಿ, ಹೌ ದ ಗ್ರಾನಿ ವಾಸ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬೆಡ್. It was like a season in hell. Hell ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನರಕ. ನರಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿಗಾಗಿತ್ತು. Here, underline this line. It was like a brief season in hell. Here the poet compared her situation in a hell. ನರಕದಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅಜ್ಜಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. Here he compares two things. He compares the quality situation of grandma in the bed to the situation of people in the hell. Hell andre naraka. Adra opposite heaven atho paradise anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, ಸ್ವರ್ಗ. How was the old lady feeling in the bed? She was feeling as if she was living in the hell. It is called comparison. This is called simile. This is a figure of speech, dear children. Here, the poet compares the situation of grandma like the situation in the hell. She was so passionate. She was so passionate of climbing trees. She was wandering, walking. Everywhere she was roaming, but she was confined to bed. She was confined to bed, and that is why her situation was very worse. And so the poet says, the situation, the time she left, the time she spent in the bed for a week is like a time it's like a season in the hell. He compared our situation to the season in the hell. So, dear children, remember, this is a figure of speech called simile. It is a comparison with the words like, conjunctions like, so, antu antadu kuda adu comparison, simile anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ. I hope you understand. And now, confined to her bed while every breeze. See, when she was confined to her bed, she was hearing the breeze Breeze means cold air blowing. ತಂಗಾಳಿ, ತಂಪಾದ ಗಾಳಿ ಸೂಸ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಹೊರಗಿನಿಂದ ತಂಪಾದ ಗಾಳಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. Leaves were rustling, breeze was blowing. She was feeling everything though she was in the bed. And now whispered of summer and dancing. See here. Here the poet also using one of the figure of speech. Every breeze whispered. The poet puts life into the breeze. Whisper means gunuguvadu, saying slowly, talking slowly or saying slowly is called whisper. Here the breeze whispered of summer and the breeze is dancing. The breeze whispered of summer. The breeze whispered of summer and dancing leaves. The leaves were dancing. So the figure of speech here, the breeze whispered and leaves dancing. Here the poet feels the life into the leaves and life into the breeze. That's why inanimate, non-living things are said to or possess life, said to be having possessed life, and so this is called personification. This you should underline this one line also. Every breeze whispered of summer and dancing. But she had held her peace till she felt stronger. See, she had to keep quiet. She had to tolerate. She held her peace. She had to keep quiet for a week without going outside, without going to other rooms, without peeping into the other kitchen room, or she confined to the bedroom, to her bed, to her cot, and till she tolerated all her situation, her plight, her condition, till she felt stronger. Then she sat up and said, yeah, when she recovered her health, when she regained her health, she sat up in the bed and said, so she said, what did she say? I will lie here no longer. She said, I will lie here no longer. She won't be in the bed no longer. It means she won't want to be in the bed. And she called for my father. Here the poet called us, here grandma called her son. Poet's father was grandma's son. She called her son and told him undaunted. Here undaunted means without hesitation, without shy. Underline this word. Yeah, they are given in footnote, they are given in glossary. The words are without hesitation or without shy. Without any shy, she told her son, she expressed her desire. See, that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. She wanted a house. She told her son, I couldn't be here no longer. Yes, you as a son, you fulfill my desire. She requested her son to build a house in treetop. And she called for my father and told him undaunted. She told him directly, without hesitation, without shy. As he was her son, she had the right to say whatever she could have in her mind directly. As it is her son, she was telling to her son. She told undaunted that a house in a treetop was what she now wanted. What did she tell her son? She told her son that she wanted a house in a treetop. Treetop ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮರದಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೊಂದು ಮನೆ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಡು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ತನ್ನ ಮಗನಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. As a dutiful son, sensible son, my dad knew his duties. The poet says, my dad knew his duties. Come on, dear children, tell me what duty did he know? Yeah, he knew the duty of fulfilling the desire of his mother, like Shravana, who fulfilled the desires of his blind parents. Now, being dutiful, being sensible, being loving son, who loved his mother very much, who cared his mother very much, he said, "That's all right. Yes, my mom. Yeah, I will fulfill your desire. I will build a house in a treetop for you." He agreed to build the house. "You will have what you want, my dear." He says, "Oh, my dear mother, you will have what you desire, what you need, what you wish, and what you want. I will start work tonight. Mother, don't worry. I will start the work tonight." So, with my expert assistance, we are moving towards the last chapter, dear children. With my expert assistant, yes, duty-bounded son, he started the work immediately. What work, children? Yeah, building a tree house for our mother. With my expert assistant, here the poet assisted. He was an assistant. If a officer, you might have seen, officer have an assistant. Assistant means helper. He helps in his work. Here, poet Ruskin Bond helped his father. He soon finished his chore. See, taking the help of his son, poet's father, completed the chore. Chore means task, a work. He completed the work. What work? Building a tree house. Tree house for whom, children? Tree house for grandmother. Made her a tree house with windows and a door. Using planks, he built a beautiful tree house for her mother with a door and windows. And so Granny moved up now and every day. After building the house, when the house was built, the Granny did not climb other trees. Every day she moved up. Moved up ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಮಕ್ಕಳೇ? ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಳು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಳು ಅಕ್ಕಿ? ತನ್ನ ಮಗ ತನಗಾಗಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿರುವಂತ ಮರದಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮನೆಗೆ every day she was moving. And when she moves there and sits in that house, reside in that house. Now the poet says, "I climbed to her room with glasses and tray." What does the poet take to the tree house? Here, he takes glasses and tray. What do you understand, children? Why do you think he took glasses and tray to the tree house? Yeah, she sits there in a state. Here, remember, state. She was in a very high position. Here, the state showing the position that she had achieved something. In a state, ಬಹಳ ತುಂಬಾ ಗಾಂಭೀರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಕುಳಿತು ಆಕೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ದೇರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ ಶರ್ರಿ ವಿತ್ ಮೀ. ಶರ್ರಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ wine. She drinks sherry with the poet. Where? At the tree house. Upholding her right to reside in a tree. She upheld her right. She showed to the whole world that upholding means making clear to the world, showing to the world that, oh, look, the world, look at me, this is my right to live in a tree house. There she enjoyed very much, and thus the poet describes an unimaginative desire, unusual desire of his grandmother. And so, going through entire the poem, what do you know, children? We know that poet Ruskin Bond had a great ability to enjoy, to describe unusual actions and events. Here, the poet, grandma, had an unusual desire, unusual skill. Okay, dear children, that's all in this poem. I hope you have understood what I have explained you. Again, you go through this poem, make your own notes. Let's take the assignment for you. Write up the substance of this poem, dear children. After reading one time or two times, go through this poem, make your own notes, and then write up the substance, write up the summary of this poem. Okay, dear children, I hope you understood this poem. Thank you.